What's up, everyone? Today we wanted to talk a little bit about getting started, how we started, our stories, and any major points that we want to give to you if you're going to be starting soon here. So, getting started with a health and fitness routine, not always the easiest thing to do. We're beginners when we start, and I was a beginner at one point, Matt was a beginner at one point, and when we're beginners at anything, we have to remember that things are going to be tough. We're learning. It's new. So you're going to be challenged, and that's okay. What really does matter, though, and I think this is one of the biggest things that I want to focus on, is making sure that we don't give up and that we just stay consistent with the action that we choose. So if it's going to be implementing working out into your day, just make a commitment of trying to work out 2 or 3 times a week rather than saying I'm going to work out every single day and then usually failing miserably when you try to do that. So
I think before we get into what exactly we would do and how to stay consistent, I'd like to hear a little bit about how you started, and I'd like to share a little bit about what happened to me when I started, because I definitely messed up and wasted a ton of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you learn, and you've gotten better,
sure.
and it's gotten more efficient as you've gone along, whereas now I'm sure, and I know for me, it's easier on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's natural now at this point.
So cool.
How did you start? What happened?
Yeah. Okay. So I am a little bit younger, and I started this when I was a little bit younger, but I was at a bad point in my life, nutritionally, physically. I had taken care of my body in the past. I was an athlete at one point, so that was a huge part of my...
At one point.
At one point. I like to think of myself still as an athlete a little bit. But yeah, so I was playing sports. I didn't really have to think about my nutrition. I was just practicing and lifting weights. And then that all came to an end at one point, and other things were introduced into my life, other foods, a dining hall, beer. That adds into your diet a little bit, I'm sure, as we all have experienced before. But it's a matter of sorting that chaos and giving it structure. That's what really helped me. So the first thing that I did, I graduated college, I remember this. I got a job in a gym just as a front desk person. And I was like, I got to do something, man. I just don't feel confident. I don't feel like I should feel right now. Really, what I started focusing on was my food. So I did a food log. I analyzed everything. One of the things that really, really stood out to me that was a huge contributor to my calories was juice. So I was drinking apple juice 2 or 3 times a day, and I was just like, oh, this is healthy, right? No, there's over 100 calories per cup. A lot of sugar, like liquid sugar, liquid calories. So I just wasn't making the right decisions, and they were uneducated decisions. So what really gave me light was logging my food. I did it consistently for about a month, I would say, but I haven't done it consistently 100%. Since then. I've done it maybe 1 week, 2 weeks a year now.
I mean, logging food is miserable.
It is.
It's miserable.
It
right?
is.
It sucks to have to do that.
It is. It's tedious.
Yeah.
It's tedious.
But once you learn, I think build the awareness is the key point there, right? When you start, you have to understand where you are.
Yeah.
And you'll know where you are physically, and you'll look at yourself and be like, man, that's not what I want to look like or feel like. But you don't actually know any of your habits that are leading to that. So the logging of the food for the first month gives you that awareness of okay, what's actually happening.
Right.
And you can take it a step further and even log or assess what your habits are for that day. Understand when you work the best. Are you more efficient in the morning or in the evening? Yeah. So that way you're not saying I'm going to go to the gym every day in the afternoon.
Right.
When you're dead tired after work, because that's just going to be a difficult
ideal.
choice to make. Right. We only can make so many choices in the day, and that happened to me. I got my first job out of school.
Okay.
I gained a bunch of weight because of, the same reasons, beer and takeout, right? When you're in a sales job, working in an office, you're taking out lunch all the time. So that's what I was doing. And I put on a significant amount of weight, right? So then I realized that I'm after work, the last thing I want to do is go to the gym and work out.
Exhausted.
Right, I was so tired. So I said, all right, I know I went to a military school. I'm used to getting up early. So it's going to suck for me to then get up early. But I know I can do that. So then I started making the choice to get up early. And it was a little bit more consistent. I felt a lot better. It was easier to make that choice first thing in the morning opposed to having to do it in the afternoon, So,
let me ask you this now. Just like with the food logging and being aware of what we're eating on a daily basis, how challenging is it at this point to wake up early in the morning?
Well, I do it almost every day now.
Right?
4 a.m. to get here
Right.
and coach. It's not hard
And
at all.
I don't think either of us are saying that you have to wake up
Of
at
course
4
not.
a.m. to work out.
That's just what works for us.
However, that's what works for Matt.
Right.
I wake up early because I'm doing other things in the morning, but what that does is it allows me to build a schedule, give me structure for my day. It gives me direction. If I don't have that structure or that game plan, it's going to be very hard to accomplish what I want and move towards my goal.
And you're aware of what works best for
We're
you,
aware
right? So
of
that's the
what's
whole
happening.
thing. When we start, we all want to start. We want to get in there. We want to do something, and that's important, right? To just get started. Right? You got to do something.
Yes.